Grab a cold one, crank up the volume, and join the show. Welcome to NBNR Live. And here we go.
It's no block, no rock.
Go big red indeed. No block, no rock. Episode 217 coming at you from the NBNR studio. Mike, just you want to get the segment, this little plug over with. You're the only one that's drinking right now, I think.
Yeah, I think,
water.
I think you two have water, so we'll hit this really quick.
Hit it.
Main sponsor of No Block No Rock podcast is Nebraska Brewing Company. Today I have chosen the Ale Storm because it is baseball season. So I figured, why not have the beer that sponsors the AAA affiliate of my favorite baseball team, the Kansas City Royals, and have the Ale Storm. So it's an excellent beer. It's chuggable. Other than that, yeah, I mean, Nebraska Brewing Company, they are world class.
In every glass.
We were supposed to have Derek Pearson on the show tonight, but due to the weather, he is going to reschedule 2 weeks from now.
Where is he?
He is probably in the comfort of his own house, which is fine.
That's fine.
Which is fine. It's cold.
It's cold.
It's cold.
It's really cold.
Some of the streets are slick.
Schools are canceling.
Schools are canceling
through Thursday even.
Yeah,
I like it.
So we will have Derek on in 2 weeks. Next week we will have Ravi Lula, the host of the Hurrdat Sports live show.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it'll just be the three of us. Connor is also not here tonight.
Gosh.
He had a birthday party. So it is the OG3.
The OG3.
The OG3 are back, baby.
There's a lot more oxygen in this room right now. Yeah. Less oxygen suckers in the room. Okay. I figured like there's baseball going on. Basketball has been doing some pretty good things. Football, there's a lot going on there. But before we get into all that, I just figured we would touch pretty briefly on Greg Sharpe. Like this is something that it wasn't a huge surprise when it was announced.
No.
Right. And kind of saw it coming. The thing about Greg Sharpe, dude, I don't know if you guys remember this, but he came onto this job when Nebraska football was like near its lowest.
Yeah.
Like
17 years ago. So it was like what, 08?
So he came on the job after Jim Rose. He like suddenly retired late 2007. And so Greg Sharpe's first game was at Kansas when Nebraska got 76 dropped on him by Mangino and Reesing and company.
That was two broken couches by Mr. Mangino.
Jeez. So yeah, he came on at late 07, and like his first full year was Pelini's first full year. And like if we wouldn't have known any better, just if we look at the job that he did, you would have never known anything crazy was happening, because he was like that stable figure for so long, and you never heard any scandals or anything crazy or any beef that he had with anybody. Like he was just a bastion of stability and like positivity. And I get that he worked for the university, so kind of had to toe that line, but he was just like always there. And despite the lowest of the lows of Nebraska football the past 17 years, there are still memorable calls to be had by him. And like, I don't know if you guys wanted to really add anything to the Greg Sharpe kind of memorialization that we're doing here.
Yeah, I just think it was like a comfort thing. Like whenever you turned on a Nebraska sporting event, whether it was baseball or football, it was that familiar voice. And even if you didn't know Greg, it felt like you knew Greg, just based on Husker Sports Nightly and everything else. Greg was the voice of Husker Nation. And to me, like, that's just it it captures all of the Nebraska fan base. Just because that's how we do things. Like our fan base, we can get around somebody, even if you don't know them. Like even the Jack Hoffman thing, like all that stuff, that is just he was the perfect voice for this fan base.
And it's funny too that you said that he was embraced by us, which is funny because he was the K-State voice.
Yes.
Like he was calling K-State football games when Bill Snyder was getting it rolling, and like K-State had kind of taken over Nebraska in the Big 12, the Big 12 North. Like they were kind of beating Nebraska's ass some years. And Greg Sharpe was the one calling games for K-State. So it is pretty it's just kind of surreal in that way how that all worked out. But again, you would have never known that he was like a non-Nebraskan.
Oh yeah.
You know. So I don't know. I mean, it's sad. It's sad. And like, what was he, 60?
Yeah.
You know, really young. Kyle?
Yeah, I think for a lot of sports fans, there's that like the voice, right? There's the voice of your favorite team. It's somebody that you listen to for years and years and years, and it's always related to your favorite team and the memories that come with it. So like driving to Lincoln to go to a Nebraska football game, you're listening to the pregame show, and he's breaking down stats and he's breaking down positions and he's talking about all this stuff. And there's a lot of memories that get made on the way to Memorial Stadium, and he will always be associated with that for me. Driving down with you guys or driving down with like my dad or even my wife, my family, like driving to Memorial Stadium, listening to Greg Sharpe. And even like, you know, if I'm working or something, like I'm listening to Greg Sharpe regularly, I would try to listen to him while I'm covering the football games because like, well, for one, I really don't know what's going on down on the field because I'm on the field. So just like listening to him while these memories are being made, I mean, it's special. So yeah.
Another thing too is like every once in a while you'll see people complain about commentators on TV, whether they're watching a Nebraska football game or baseball. And I'm like, why are you complaining about, I don't know, like Greg McElroy calling a game? Like, I don't know who, Gus Johnson even. Why are you complaining about these people? You shouldn't be listening to them anyway.
Right. You should be listening to the voice of Husker Nation.
Like the fact that people don't mute their TV and turn on the radio still to this day, like I get that radio isn't the same that it used to be. Like I was riding on my tractor back in 1960 and I was listening to Lyle Bremser call games. Like I know it's not the same in that way, but like, why wouldn't you listen to Greg Sharpe? Like he knows our players, and it is fun too. This is with Kent Pavelka as well. This applies to him. That slant, like we all feel that slant, that pro Nebraska slant.
Yes, that's what we want.
I mean, it is like let's be honest. Like, yeah, sure, Kent Pavelka's and Jake Muehlheisen, they'll complain about the refs a lot.
That's fine.
It's fine. You know, sometimes I'll be like, all right, guys, stop. You know, the other team went on a 20-0 run. Like, there's other factors that why Nebraska's losing this game. But we love that pro Nebraska slant.
Mm-hmm.
And like Greg, he wasn't as, you know, tilted in that pro Nebraska slant as KP is. But I just don't understand why people still have not figured out. You need to mute your television.
It's
and
tricky
put
now,
on
though.
the radio call.
It's tricky now though, because with streaming services and everything else, the radio is ahead of the TV.
Well, you know how you fix that.
You pause.
You gotta,
I get it.
Listen,
I get it.
Sometimes you got to pause the radio
And pause the TV and then go back and forth.
I get it. It's a pain in the ass, but guess what? I do that every fucking Saturday. Even if it's like a second off. I do that with football. I do that with baseball. Like sometimes you just got to do these things.
Right.
Okay. How big of a fan are you, Mike? Huh?
I mean, usually I'm in the stands, so I'm not one that wears the Walkman or anything like that. But yeah.
See, I grew up like I would go to people's garages and watch games, and you know they would have the television muted,
and they had the radio on. Yeah,
like
we did that.
And
when
it
we
was
were
like,
kids, yeah,
and like you need to start doing that.
Yeah, I could bring it back, but
go on. You're gonna say something else.
I don't know. Is Benny Mack going to be the new voice, or does anybody?
Well,
Have they announced anything for football?
Well, for football, I don't know.
Yeah, like I don't. Who is going to be the next Greg Sharpe? I mean, obviously, I think DB will still be the color commentator, but
yeah, it'll be interesting how they handle that because, like I said, with Greg coming into that role in 07, like he was kind of the outsider guy,
right?
And he wasn't. I don't even think he was trying to audition for the Nebraska job necessarily. Like he was just doing a job and filling in. And so it will be interesting. Like, do you go with someone that we all know? Like, I don't
know if there's any local.
Really,
and here's the thing:
I haven't even thought about it.
We have lots of local guys on this show, like lots of local broadcasters and stuff like that.
Right.
Even out of all those people that we've had on our show, there's still not a voice or somebody that I think could do it.
It's gonna be really difficult. Like, knowing how much everyone has loved Greg Sharpe over the years, it's going to be really difficult for people to like turn that page. Unfortunate as it is and sad as it is, it's going to be really difficult for people to be like, oh yeah, this sounds right.
Well, okay. And another funny thing is like, your point. Imagine filling in for Greg Sharpe. I mean, that's going to be almost impossible. But when Greg took the job, he took over for Jim Rose.
Right.
And he wasn't exactly beloved. So I think it was easier for people to adopt Greg into the Husker family. So you're going to have to work through some of the little kinks and the biases that people are going to have.
We just bring KP back for a little bit.
Hey, who's going to balk at that?
Nobody
would balk.
Wouldn't that be like a perfect person to kind of bridge the gap until they get somebody else in to do it? Like, I don't know. Like, even for 1 year, I would love to listen to KP call football again.
Just for a year.
Just for 1 year.
Yeah.
So
it's like the 90s again. And like Nick Hanley, he's been doing baseball.
Yeah.
Like, and you can tell he's been doing it a long time. He like was a PA guy even for the team. So it's not like anything new to him. So he's pretty natural. Our guy, Nick Hanley, we love Nick Hanley here.
Hell yeah.
He's our boy. So figures that he's going to stay on that job and he does great. So for football, I don't know if that's Hanley's thing for football, but
we'll see. I'm excited to find out who it is, but like I said, maybe a little KP or something.
Maybe this will be the first outlet, the first media outlet,
right,
to petition Kent Pavelka just for a year,
just for one season.
Kent, just a year. Like, again, who would say, "Oh, fuck that"? Everyone would love that.
Yeah.
Okay. From Greg Sharpe to Baby Gronk.
Oh my God. Yeah, let's touch that briefly.
What are we doing? The official Big Ten account like retweeted him and said, "Baby Gronk's at the wrestling match." What? And he's like showing off his grill. Like, I'm not against the kid like being himself and showing off his grill, like whatever. He's a young kid. What? And then you got his dad. He's kind of a piece of shit. But like,
I think he's just a social media personality.
Oh, I guess.
And
he's like a Kardashian.
Right.
Fuck.
I don't love that Dylan,
our savior, Dylan,
the face of our program, who already has all these issues of him being cosplay Mahomes, and then you've got him, taking pictures and doing videos with Baby Gronk. Like,
yeah, baby girl, come on,
dude.
Go kiss his ball, baby girl.
Let's focus on nutrition and the off season. Go throw with your new receivers. I'm not worried about you throwing with Baby Gronk in the snow.
Can't you
I don't want that.
First interception of the year. Well, you've been throwing to Baby Gronk. That's why. Damn.
So dumb. So dumb.
Like, how much was Dylan paid for that?
You would think he was paid, right?
You would think.
You would hope, right?
God. Just
KB.
He's still relevant. I don't know why.
I don't know. Stuff like that for athletes, it's like a high profile social media following meets another high profile social media following. I don't know how they ended up in that situation. I would imagine somebody told Dylan, like, "Hey, Baby Gronk is in town. He wants to meet you." And Dylan was like, "All right,
cool."
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, I've never loved the Baby Gronk thing. It seems very exploitive of children by his
weird.
father, and it just weirds me out. So I don't know.
Yeah, like
Didn't he follow our account for a little bit? I thought like a few months back, didn't he like follow us out of the blue?
I think so.
And then he unfollowed us now though, because I don't know if you looked at his Twitter account or X account, but like he is following as many people as that he follows or whatever.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it looks like if you don't follow him back or whatever, it looks like
After a week.
yeah, after a week or whatever, he unfollows you. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he followed our podcast like a few months back.
Yeah.
Weird.
Did not follow back.
Did not follow.
Yeah,
back.
because I remember taking a screenshot.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if I was like, we are not following this guy back. I mean, what are we doing?
Right.
Like, you're weird. It's exploitative.
And I know
That's the word, exploitive.
Exploitative.
Yeah.
He did follow some of the local radio stations and stuff, or the 1620s of the world, all their radio shows after the whole them tweeting about it and talking about it. Of course, you had to go follow them. So it's a weird thing.
Woo!
Turn the page. Nobody likes Baby Gronk. What do we got next?
It's dead and gone. Even though we just brought it up, it's dead and gone now. Okay. So on Facebook, I posted the final score to their basketball game. The Nebraska ball epic furious comeback. And here is one of the comments that I received. And it's seriously, like, I read this, a huge smile went on my face. Did you see this?
No, I did not.
Okay.
But it was obviously good enough
I'm
for you
like,
to bring
dude,
it to our show.
I'm like, bro, this is perfect. Because I want to claim this for myself, but I can't. I can't give credit to myself here. But this is what he said. This bunch of misfits are tenacious. Let's keep the nonsense going. I'm just like, dude, that is the perfect summation that you could possibly have for this team so far. This bunch of misfits and nonsense, but like in an endearing way. Because like they're winning. They're in the tournament right now.
At the moment.
But yeah, I just love that use of misfits, because sometimes you watch this team look like a bunch of misfits out there. And even when they win, it's kind of a bunch of nonsense.
They just got this thing though about this team, and it's kind of how it's been with like all of Fred's teams the last couple of years.
Yeah.
They've got this switch, and it's really hard to find. So it's like if you're walking in the dark and you're trying to find the light switch. You don't know where it's at necessarily, but when you find it, the light turns on. That's what this team is like. It's like when I come in this podcast studio, pitch dark, and I'm wandering around trying to find that light switch. That is what Fred's teams are like.
You
But when
eventually
the light-
switch it on.
when it turns on, pretty or not, they figure things out.
Oh my
It's
God.
beautiful. Just imagine. Imagine if the light switch turned on before the game started.
Dude, that first half though
Was miserable.
rough start. And, obviously you're missing Burke. You're missing that size. And Northwestern was killing Nebraska on the boards, killing them. You're not going to come here and listen to us necessarily talk about stats. Now, I could come up with the specific rebounding numbers and how
stupid.
Northwestern had like 10 offensive boards in the first half or whatever. But they were getting just shellacked and out-toughed. And I don't know. Yeah, I know. The whole whiteboard thing. Do we have a whiteboard in here that I could punch? So I can get this episode on track. But like, I'm glad I wasn't able to watch that first half because I was at my nephew's basketball game. But I'm listening to it. I'm like, I'm glad I'm not watching this horse shit.
I watched every second of it. The entire game.
How did that first half feel to you, Mike? How did it feel?
It felt like it was familiar. It felt like the Purdue loss, the Michigan State loss. It felt like one of those like weekend blunders.
Little
where
sleepy.
it's just like, oh, here we go again. We're going to lose by 30.
Yep.
But this team, it was different because this team sucks that we're playing against. So that sucked. Is that like, okay, before when you're getting your ass kicked by Michigan State, Purdue was the last one. Who else? Oh, Wisconsin. When you get your ass kicked by those teams, it's like, oh, well, they're ranked and they're actually good at basketball. But then you
so if you show up sleepy, it's like this is what you get.
Yeah, it's like that's exactly what you should expect to happen. But Northwestern is not a good basketball team, and for you to show up sleepy in that game, in that arena, and then bad.
Not only does Northwestern suck, okay, but they're also missing their two best players. So I'm listening to this and I'm like, guys, of all games that, like, it's one thing to lose, but Jesus, man,
You know what it felt like?
Northwestern is not, and they were up at one point by 20. Northwestern is not 20 points better than you, bro. What are we doing? Go. Sorry.
It kind of felt like, and I think UCLA is kind of it's a tricky thing here, but it almost felt like that UCLA football game where it was like, you're better than this team. What are you doing?
Right.
Like, why are you just letting them just out tough you and push you around like you're a little bitch? Like, that's seriously what it felt like the whole first half.
Mm-hmm.
But then they flipped the switch. They found it.
And like, this is where we give credit to some guys that we've been critical of. Okay. Braxton Maya had his best game of the year.
Dude.
He came up big.
And it's good to get hot now. Like, trend in this direction in this month. It's the perfect time for him to get going because he got benched.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when Bearcat gets hurt, you have to rise to the occasion. And he is doing that with flying colors.
Yeah. This is a guy that was benched and he wasn't playing
At all. Like, riding the bench the whole time.
His ass was hurting because he was getting fucking splinters because he was sitting on the bench. And like, I want to credit him because it would have just been easy for him to say, fuck that, fuck Fred, fuck this team. Like, we're on a 6-game losing streak at the time.
Right.
Man, fuck this. But nah, man, he comes out and he's making free throws.
Yeah.
Jesus, man, what?
He had made like 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Before he missed one. I think he seriously almost doubled his free throw percentage in like the last 3 games that he's played.
Making dunks. He's playing his size. He was playing big.
He looked kind of coordinated too. Like,
yeah, because that was the thing that we were kind of like, dude, you're 7 feet. Can you not play like you're fucking Muggsy Bogues?
Right.
Because it was kind of like meek and not a thing that we were calling Bryce during this losing streak, taking initiative or lack thereof. It's like, Braxton Maya, you're 7 feet. Take initiative.
Go
Be
grab
the guy.
board.
Get this. Go.
Right.
And it was just like, oh my God, he needs a fucking kick in the ass. But steps up. And another guy that stands out, even though he hasn't been scoring a lot, Connor Esiason.
When he goes, this team will go as far as Connor Esiason can go because everybody else is there. But when Connor makes at least 2 or 3 threes, we win.
But the thing I want to point out, there are those costly, or I should say timely rebounds that he was getting at the end of the game. It's like I'm listening on the radio and I hear, Connor Esiason gets the board. KP. Connor Esiason gets the board. Kip Pavelka calls his name like it seemed like 4 possessions in a row on the defensive side because he was getting rebounds. And I'm like, oh shit, he's like playing scrappy and he's getting after it. And, he's the 3 guy. It's like nobody's getting boards. I like it.
Well, he better because he's a defensive liability. So, like, you need to make an impact on the game. If your shot is not falling, which it has not been. When he was sick last game, when we did lose to Maryland, which we're not even going to talk about that. That team's good. And they're trending back to, like, you want to be trending up at this point of the season. Maryland is trending up and quickly. So, don't care about that. They beat the living shit out of Iowa, which is hilarious. No, like, Connor is at a point where when he has to guard a guard, those guys are like, okay, ISO ball, let's go. I'm just going to go right at him, and I'm going to go score to the rim. It's refreshing when you can see him make an impact other than him making threes. Like, go get boards, show toughness, show effort. It's good.
There was some talk about how, like, people ranking this win in the Fred Hoiberg tier. Like, where does it fall? Like, some people are calling this the greatest Fred Hoiberg win.
No.
And I'm like, okay, hold on a second.
That's Purdue.
Let's not get...
We were there. That is the best
we
win that Fred Hoiberg has on his resume. And Wisconsin was pretty good too. I got to stone the court for that one too. But those are beating like big dogs. You beat a puppy that was shitting on you for an entire quarter or half and then some change.
Like a puppy that was shitting on you.
Yes.
Yeah, we put him in the kennel. That's what we did.
Finally.
Bad kitty.
Real quick. So back to your guys' like trending in the right direction topic here. BA throws in a $4.99 bomb. Appreciate you.
Okay, BA.
He says, no guests means I can ask the real questions. The listeners are wondering, why is Nebraska ball so good in Black History Month the last 2 years? We've talked about the jerseys,
Yes.
the special jerseys they wear during Black History Month.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, so what is the coincidence or what is the thing that this time of the year, the last 2 years, Nebraska ball is trending in the right direction? Like why is that? It can't 2 years in a row now. It can't be, it just happens. Like
Well,
what's the reason?
I mean, we could say, oh, the uniforms, they changed the uniforms, right? And like,
You hope not.
and how, we look at Oregon football and we say, oh, they change their uniforms all the time. And
look good, feel good, right?
yeah, that's right. Well, look good is not this year.
Well, the uniform.
Not this year. Not this year. They don't look good.
I don't like them.
I think, you're putting me on the spot. Oh my God. But I would just say the way that Fred builds his teams with like outsiders coming in, I think they need some time to acclimate. I think Fred needs time to acclimate a little bit and see how these guys mesh and all that shit. Like Mike, you were saying, this team, when they're in the dark, right? They're stumbling around. They're trying to find that light switch. And it seems like for the past couple of years, they've been down. They find the light switch and things get kind of on track. So, this team needs to hit like a little bit of a bottom in order to figure shit out.
Yeah, and I mean this year it was like, okay, they started good. They run into the 6-game losing skid. Ugh. And then now they're like the light is back on and they're moving in the right direction.
Perfect timing. Like you can talk to all your little Creighton fans. Like when Nebraska was losing, they're chirping, right? They're chirping. Oh, look, see, I'd rather trend in March than I would in February. January. Yeah, January, whatever. So like this is the perfect time to trend if you are going to make the tournament. And I think this team, especially this Northwestern game, they were at a crossroads where it was like, do you want to make the tournament or not? Because I'm sorry, if they lose that game and it trended the way it was going, like, and they got their ass kicked by Northwestern, I don't know if this team is going to make the tournament. Like, I think that was going to linger, and it could have been another one of those like 6-game things. So I think finding a way to win like that, I think it helps you a lot when you go play Penn State tomorrow, and it's going to hopefully help you a lot too when you have Michigan coming to town and you need Bear K for that game.
When you have guys like Juwan, happy birthday. I think it was his birthday yesterday. And Bryce, older guys. And Mike, like you said, when making the tournament, even the conference tournament, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we were sitting here going, we're not going to make the conference tournament. So when you're an older guy like that, it's like, fuck that, dude. No, I'm not going out like that. That's pathetic. So you have Bryce taking more initiative. You have Juwan, who has been limiting his 3-point shooting. He's driving to the basket.
And he has hit it. Like,
he's a big listener. He's a big listener.
Yeah, you're welcome, Juwan. We got you, buddy. Hey, I'll take some of that $18.90 money you're making.
I would gladly have Juwan on our show. I think that would be a fantastic interview.
Shit. I mean, he's a glue guy. Glue guy.
I mean, and with how bad Nebraska ball history is, he's probably one of the best players we've ever had.
Listen,
maybe the best defensive player we've ever had.
If you make a starting 5, is he going to make the starting 5? No, but he'll be on your bench for all Nebraska.
Yeah,
all-time team, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're dealing with 3 years of the same guy, and Juwan is him no matter what. Like he doesn't change. Like he's always got the tenacity.
Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes the offense comes and goes, but like he is the guy that gets this thing going. And he is the one that kind of started the comeback against Northwestern.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
He was like, all right, we're done with this.
Yeah, if you're going to be tenacious, use that tenacity to your benefit And that Juwan is driving to the basket. And not just Juwan driving to the basket, but that free throw disparity between Northwestern and Nebraska was huge. Like Nebraska was getting to the line a lot.
They had to.
And guess what they were doing?
Making them.
Making them.
It was great. They're free.
That's something that Fred Hoiberg's teams didn't do the first couple of years of his tenure. But you have these guys stepping up to the line and making their shit.
It's good.
And it's putting games away where it's a little less interesting because you're up by like 3 or 4 now instead of up by 1. And oh my God, because you're making your free throws. It's huge. And it's really interesting when they play teams like this, like a bad team. Is this a must-win game?
They're all must-wins.
It's like you have your must-wins and you have your must-not-lose. And that was a must-not-lose game.
And so is tomorrow. Tomorrow
okay, let's
is
talk.
also
Yeah, Penn State.
Penn State. You're going at Penn State.
They suck.
You want to hear?
They are ass.
They're terrible.
Kyle. I don't know if you want go.
They're terrible. So, family member, her boyfriend goes to Penn State. He went to the Nebraska ball game, the Maryland game with us last week.
Okay.
And I asked him, I was like, Caleb, are you going to the Penn State Nebraska game? You literally go to school down there. And he's like, no, we don't go to basketball games.
That's
we
crazy.
suck.
That's crazy.
Right. They're fans, they're students. Nobody gives a fuck about Penn State basketball. That is going to be a bring your own energy kind of game, which worries me because Nebraska struggles to bring their own energy to games. But that is another game where you cannot lose that game. Like, that is a don't lose. It's not a must win. It's don't freaking lose.
Mike, let me ask you. Let's say Nebraska loses. What happens? What does that mean?
It's going to be, well, nothing really. It's going to be, okay, you come back home and you got to go play a good Michigan team. You also have to figure out where your next wins are going to come from because we've got Penn State, Michigan, then we've got at Ohio State, and then you finish with Minnesota and Iowa.
Yeah.
So, like, you have to figure it out. You got to get 2 out of 5.
I think for so long, I've always been the get to 20, and it's like 20 is a
nice, 19.
Nice, tasty round number. But I think 19 is the magic number because, dude, at this time last year, how many road wins did Nebraska have?
0.
Fucking 0. And now they have, I think it's 4.
And we have tons of Q1 wins.
A lot of Q1. And Northwestern
is a Q1
is
for
a
now.
Q1 for now.
For now.
So hopefully they'll keep winning. But yeah, it's like Penn State's weird, man. And when I say Penn State is weird, I mean their fan base. It's like people give Nebraska shit. And there's nothing there. I've heard endless stories about fucking State College, Pennsylvania, and how that is a barren wasteland. And how there's nothing to do there. And getting there is
a nightmare.
Yeah, you hear stories all the time about that, right? And there's no airport or whatever. And it's like, I think Penn State football fans they're good fans, right? They cultivate a good game day atmosphere. They got their flags and
white out.
They have their cult leader Joe Pa, and they backed him when they probably shouldn't have, right? It's just funny that why don't you support like Nebraska fans? Like we support all fucking sports
because we have.
I'm bragging, baby.
Okay, but you know why though? I mean, like Pennsylvania,
there's a lot going on.
There's a lot of stuff going on. Right. Only show in town.
I know, but it's just
it's tough to compare the two, even though they're that borderline blue blood, and Nebraska is a blue blood. So just saying.
Let's make it clear.
BA's got another $2
King.
Look at that
super chat.
$2.
Appreciate it.
Make me holla.
He says Nebraska's only 1.5 point or 1.5 point favorites. Why?
We've been 1.5 point favorites in the last 2 games. We were 1.5 point favorites against Maryland. We lost that game, and we were 1.5 point favorites against Northwestern, and we should have lost that game. So I don't really like being a favorite in any game moving forward, but this is going to be the last one you're probably favored. Man, maybe Minnesota and Iowa you might be, but
so I'm not a huge betting guy, okay, but you always hear about how the home team gets a automatic 3-point bump in football, at least. I don't know what it is in basketball.
I bet in basketball it's probably a couple points. I don't know. We don't have our gambling addict with us today, so
well, maybe BA. The Bet MGM and the dudes in Vegas, the fucking, what do you want to call them?
The Sharks.
The Sharks. I was going to call them like Satan's slaves or something because they're like kind of evil.
Okay.
Go on. You have
Well, Kyle, I mean, you're kind of a degen now, Kyle. So I don't know.
What do you mean?
But maybe that all that stuff I was saying earlier about State College, how it's a pain in the ass to get there. Maybe the bettors are just taking that into account. And
I think they just look at the
Nebraska
paper. They're better on paper. Nebraska's better on paper than Penn State.
Mm.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
They're favored.
And you know, Burke's going to be out again. So need Braxton to listen, Braxton, I'm not asking you to go for 20 and 10. I'm not doing that. Because first of all, it's fucking insane. Fucking crazy. If I were to ask that of you. But hey, can you get me okay, let's talk about a Braxton Mayo line, okay? Double, still asking too much.
Yeah.
Can you get me 10 and 9? Can you get me 10 and 9?
And that's 10 boards and 9 points, right?
I don't know, whatever. However you want to switch.
No,
it.
I would say for a Braxton Mia line, I think it's like 7 points. Give me 11 boards.
Okay.
I want more than 10.
Give me the Dennis Rodman special, baby.
Yeah, and one block. Because I feel like he always has at least one block. Like when he's playing multiple minutes, even when he's playing like very no minutes at all, like he was still getting blocks.
He's still getting blocks.
Or he was getting blocked onto the bench. So
God.
Okay,
if
so
you don't block, you're getting blocked. Sorry.
Yeah, so I guess the question is like, why are they only 1.5 point favorites?
I think they take into account too. Nebraska has a tough time bringing their own energy. You're going at Penn State. It's going to be a sleepy game. And they watched the Northwestern first half. Yeah. So those all add up to Nebraska only being favored by 1.5.
Right. So there's the on paper thing, and then there's the eye test, the human element, where if you watch Nebraska on the road, it's Big Ten teams in general on the road. It's not always the most pretty thing to watch. And so if you're a human, you're like, okay, Nebraska's got to travel there. They struggled at Northwestern. They had to fucking go nuts in their comeback. They had to expel a lot of energy for that must-win game or can't lose game. I don't know the difference anymore. But if you're a human, you're like, yeah, I can see this Nebraska team fall behind by 12 and just kind of be down. Right? It's easy to see that happen. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe Penn State's on a fucking heater that day and they make 10 out of 10 threes.
They're going to have opportunities to shoot. They're going to have opportunities to shoot threes.
You know?
That's a given. So, I don't know. I think we turn the page on basketball. I think hopefully we win tomorrow and we beat Michigan at home. And then you're done. Then you have to worry about the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Although it would be really cool to have some gravy and be like, okay, we're also going to go, maybe lose to Ohio State on the road and then go take the last two. That would be sweet. That would be maybe one of the best basketball seasons ever. So,
yeah, need to beat Iowa.
Need to beat Iowa.
Even if you don't need to beat them, you need to beat them.
Yep.
Because fuck them.
And Minnesota. Like, fuck them too.
Yeah, fuck Iowa. Minnesota sucks.
Yeah. Actually,
we're
5-0. Let's go 5-0.
We're fans of the worst college basketball program of all time.
Yes, we are.
Minnesota fucking sucks, and Iowa fucking sucks.
Yeah, I see Fran's probably going to get fired, so
that's crazy.
That's hilarious.
I don't think that they'll do the Kirk Ferentz treatment with him.
Maybe.
EJ Barthel.
Yep.
You had Texas and Penn State flirting with him a little bit, right? They were kind of teasing him
in the DMs a little.
That's the word on the street that they were looking at EJ going, oh, we need a new running backs coach. Let me ask you this, guys. Let's just say EJ Barthel DMs Sark and goes, hook 'em. Oh, that made me so.
Ew.
Oh, we're going to clip that.
Yeah.
No, please God. Let's say EJ Barthel DMs Sark and goes, hook 'em, man. How are you feeling?
Well,
how do you feel about that? If he's a Longhorn and he's in Austin, Texas tonight.
But he's not because he got paid. So
I'm saying if he took the job, how would you feel?
I don't think I would really care,
Mm.
but I will say this. EJ was the only one on the staff that didn't get an extension. He was like the only one that had like a pending deal. So I think it gave him and his agent an opportunity to explore. And Texas, their OC or whatever, he, coached with him at Rutgers. So like I could see that being a thing where it's like, hey, we've got familiarity. Let's figure it out. The Penn State one's a little head scratching, I guess, but like
It's interesting.
that tells me and Kyle said this when we got here, if Penn State and Texas want your running backs coach, what does that tell you about your running backs coach? Maybe he's actually better than what Husker fans think.
Yeah. Kyle, do you have any kind of just thoughts about my question? How would you feel if, like, would you be like, oh, fuck? Or would you be like, okay, on to the next one?
I don't know. There's a part of me that looks at what the running back room was doing a couple of years ago with the turnovers. Even not this past year, but the year before that. You remember going to Minnesota and seeing what was happening with that, the turnovers. And we had said coming into this season, like, hey, as long as you're not turning the ball over, you've got a pretty good chance of going bowling. And the quarterback wasn't fumbling as much or throwing as many interceptions. The running backs weren't fumbling as much. So I don't know. Is that a result of EJ and the things that he's teaching? I don't know. But my first reaction is like,
Whatever.
Had he left, I would have probably just said, okay,
Yeah.
what's next? Like who's going to replace him? And I've heard like Mitch Sherman today on their show with Connor Happer. He had said something about Mosey.
Yeah, just
filling that spot because of his
promoting
connections and promoting him because he was a running back and all this other stuff. So like, I don't know. I think they would have been fine, but
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think I probably would have been more on the meh side. I mean, for a couple of reasons, because let's be honest here. The running back production in the past couple of years has been lackluster. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll go over some of the kind of maybe underlying things there. But then the other reason why I'd be meh is just because I would have looked at it and said, well, college football sucks. And this is just another part of it is you have coaches DMing each other and you have agents trying to people move all the time. So I would have just like embraced the whole coaches move thing.
Right. They poach your players, they poach your coaches. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Money talks.
Now let's touch on the lackluster running back production, right? As a Ravens fan, I am sympathetic to the bell cow philosophy, right? I love Derrick Henry. I love Saquon Barkley. I love that. Now, that being said, there's a reason why I've only named 2 running backs, Derrick Henry and Saquon, because there's not a whole lot of those guys.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, but he got hurt.
But that's the thing, right? I mean, he's fucking injured all the time because
he's the feature back.
Yeah. So again, if I'm constructing a team, that's how I would do it. I recognize that is just not the way most teams operate, especially college football. Even when you have great running backs like Judkins, is a name that just comes off top. Like he's splitting time too. Yeah. Like, that's just the way it works. Okay. So I recognize that the days of, Amon Green being the feature back is just not the thing, or Mike Rozier is not the thing. But then I look at the end of the year and I go, okay, it looked like Emmett Johnson was playing better, was being incorporated into the offense in a more productive way, whether that be, catching passes or finding holes to run through. That was very nice to see. So I get to thinking today, I'm like, well, people kind of give EJ Barthel crap. But then I think for a lot of that time, who was his offensive coordinator?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
A guy who's no longer the offensive coordinator. They make the change to Holgo. So now that Holgo is the new OC, we can expect that the running backs will look better. So I think now the question becomes, well, who has EJ Barthel brought in? Jamarian Parker.
Yeah.
You're hearing good things. We won't know for probably another year.
Connor Booth.
Quentin Ives.
Quentin
We will see.
Then you've got
The other recruit that I'm forgetting his name.
Makai Nelson.
Makai. There you go.
But he was already on the team and he was making waves, I guess, at the end of the year this year. So
yeah. And so, yeah, would I have been meh if he went to Texas or Penn State? Yeah. But at the same time, I'm trying to be sympathetic here because he had Satterfield as his OC.
Yeah. I think
I was very clear when Sat was hired. And after year one, I'm like, dude, just fire him already because you're going to do it anyway. He's a tight ends coach now. He will be a better tight ends coach than an OC. I think that's very safe to say.
I feel like being a tight ends coach is a lot easier of a job than to be the OC. And we've said it in the past too. Like Sat was very creative, but I don't think he could do the simple thing of calling the right plays at the right time and just really keeping the offense going. Like,
yeah,
I think he was creative. Like the stuff that he drew up in his bag, I think were pretty good. But
some plays were cute.
Yeah, I mean, there's the portion in between the cute plays that you have to have nailed down.
Right.
There's
we didn't have any of this.
This stuff wasn't nailed down at all. And like my thoughts being like meh is just that's kind of like my opinion on most position coaches. And I say most because offensive line coach, defensive line coach, those are the guys that I'm like, oh God, you gotta keep those, right?
Yep.
Like you gotta keep those consistent.
Yeah.
But I mean, in college football in general, like you lose coordinators. They go find better jobs. They go they're a head coach somewhere, like whatever. It's just like, meh, it has really nothing to do with EJ as like a coach himself. It's really just like, there's other coordinators. It's constantly going to be like a revolving thing. It's just a coordinator.
Well, and Matt Rule would bring in another guy, whether it be Jamar Mosey or Matt Rule would go and shop and find the right guy, and it would be an upgrade because any hire that Matt Rule has made so far, at least on paper, has been an upgrade.
So yeah,
and that's credentials wise, though, is what I'm saying. Like they're more qualified to do the job. Like,
yeah,
you can look at Terry Braden, right?
Yep. Like
he's more qualified than Pot Roast was when he got hired. Like, you can look at our wide receivers coach. He is a hell of a lot more qualified, than McGuire was. So like, all the hires that he's had to make have been an upgrade, and that's because they've had the tenure and they've actually had proof that they've done it at this level.
And that should also tell you something about Matt Rule extending EJ and keeping him here and paying him to make sure that he stays.
Yeah.
Is if Matt Rule has constantly been on this, like, okay, this didn't really work. Let's find an upgrade. Let's find an upgrade. Let's find an upgrade. He could have very well said, yeah, you know what? Maybe you're better off at Texas or Penn State.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know how long this discussion will be here, but it gets you thinking now that he signed the extension. It's kind of a moot point, I guess. But since Texas and Penn State were in the conversation with EJ, it's like, well, was EJ putting his feelers out there?
I think he was.
Like,
I think he used this to get more money.
Okay. Or, you kind of get thinking too, before he signed the extension, you get thinking, well, did Rule maybe tell EJ Barthel to kind of put his feelers out there? Because maybe Matt Rule's like, maybe I can find somebody. Now, your point about how every move that Matt Rule has made to the staff has been an upgrade. So then it gets me thinking, it's like, damn, what if they were able to get a better running backs coach?
Probably could.
Who now would have Holgerson as the OC. So it's kind of like a double whammy kind of thing.
Yeah. We could have, but that'll be if the running back production sucks next year, that'll be next year because even with the extension, he's going to get fired. So I think regardless, they have to produce. They do. Like the running backs have to produce. They were okay last year.
Yeah.
But this year, if you look at that roster, there is not a lot of proven guys. You've got one guy that actually has game reps, and the rest of them are all question marks. So if you see production in that position, he's immediately going to show his worth. If you don't, he's immediately going to show you how bad of a coach he is.
Not his worth.
So, and BA jumps in and he says, what makes John Butler more qualified to be a college defensive coordinator than Tony White? And what I'll say to that is Matt Rule has his fingers all over the defense.
Yeah, that's a little different.
All over the defense. And from the very beginning, when they brought in Butler onto the squad, I said, now you have to be careful here. You can't start like making promises that you're going to have to keep later on, because everybody was wondering, why is John Butler coming here? Assumably, Tony White's going to get a job somewhere else, and they're going to have to elevate John Butler into the defensive coordinator position. I saw that coming from a mile away, and that was a promise. You get John Butler in here to coach DBs. It had to have been something where like, hey, I'm looking at you as our next defensive coordinator. But I think Matt Rule feels pretty safe about whoever's running the defense, because Matt Rule is running the defense.
Right. Between that and then he also went and hired his best friend, his mentor, Phil Snow. So I think you can say that John Butler has the title of defensive coordinator. With that being said, Matt Rule and Phil Snow have their fingers all over that defense. So yes, BA, I think that is still, in my opinion, I won't say it's a direct upgrade, but it's one of those things that no matter what, whoever got hired as a DC, I think the defense would have been okay, because Matt Rule, that's his teams have good defenses.
Yeah, and that's what he said. He said, I promise you, we're always going to have a good defense.
Yeah, and look, BA, if this was like in a vacuum, like if we went from Tony White to John Butler in a vacuum and I didn't like know anything else and I didn't have any context, I would say that is a downgrade. I would say that.
Yeah.
But when you factor in, historically, Matt Rule's teams have been good on defense. And that's precisely because defense is his thing, right? And so it adds a little more comfort to me, I'm a skeptic at heart, okay? I'm trying to find the negative within everything. And I generally do.
You do. A lot.
Fuck. I mean, I have to look in the mirror every day, bruh. So imagine my life. Okay. Anyway,
not going to get into the weeds there.
Let's not dig into my soul or lack thereof. No, but like when you add in the context that Matt Rule, his identity is defense. Like we talked about how we don't want him touching the offense. Stop. He's in the room with Dana Holgerson. Dana go, get the fuck out of here, dude. You suck at offense. Get out. Leave. Let me do my thing. Okay. He goes off to the special teams room. Oh, hi, Coach Mike. Coach Mike Eckler, what's up? What's going on in here? Mike goes, get out! And he was jumping on him, because he's crazy. But we also want Matt Rule.
Crazy.
But we also want Matt Rule in the room a little bit, just to emphasize how important it is. But then he goes in the defensive room, and it's like, all right, that's where your bag is, dude. That's like your, what do I want to say? Like, what's a fancy word for it? That's your thing. That's
he's a savant.
Savant. Okay, I like that.
It's a cup of tea.
It's a cup of tea. Yes. So yes, I feel better with Butler, and I guess Phil Snow.
It's fine.
Whatever. It's fine.
It's fine.
Shit. I thought I had something else. Maybe not. Maybe I don't have anything else. Maybe I'm just an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, at this point of the year, we don't have anything. We're just talking.
Hey,
we're just hanging out. Yeah.
It's cold outside,
and
man.
We're the three best friends that anyone can have.
Ain't no football being played today. What are we at?
We're at 55 and a half.
Okay.
I think we finished with
how many
stuff.
Well, how many listeners?
106.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay, good. Mike. A lot of talk about Big Ten, SEC. It's going to be the NFL, right? The Big Ten is going to be the AFC. The SEC is going to be the NFC. Whatever. With all of this going on, if you had to pick, because one of the bullet points with this Big Ten SEC meeting going on is every year you would have kind of a designated SEC game on your schedule. If I were to ask you, Mike, who would you want your sister SEC team to be? Who would it be?
Okay, I'm going to take two approaches at this. My heart tells me Oklahoma. I think that's an easy one. It's the former rival. Everybody loves the Nebraska-Oklahoma rivalry series. Now, my brain tells me Give me fucking Vanderbilt.
Jesus.
Because we need an extra win. And I know Vanderbilt's probably reserved for like Northwestern or something. But no, give me Vanderbilt. Give me the worst SEC school because I want a guaranteed win.
You wouldn't beat, let's just say, Troy Dannon, Greg Sankey, and Kevin Warren. No, who's the big Petiti? Kevin Warren. They're all in a room together, and they say, Nebraska, your SEC team is Vandy. You wouldn't be insulted by that?
No, I would be doing like front flips in my yard.
Fuck.
I'd be like,
insulted.
hell yeah, dude. In the context, this is okay.
Yeah.
You have to play the It Means More conference, right? You're playing one of their It Means More teams, and you're gonna have more wins. You're gonna beat that team more times than they're gonna beat you. You'd hope, right?
You would think.
Right. And in a playoff format, if you have, they're gonna do it like this. They're gonna be like, okay, what was the Big Ten's record of the SEC this year? You won yours. I don't care. But like I said, my heart tells me Oklahoma.
Sure.
I think that's the easiest one. Or you could say like Missouri, because also similar thing, history, tradition, etc.
That's who I was going to say. Was Missouri.
Yeah, I think that's easy too. It's an easy travel for both teams. You could make a lot of money, get a lot of eyeballs on it. But heart says Oklahoma, brain says Vanderbilt.
So your pick's Mizzou.
Yeah, my pick would be Mizzou. I think that's like Mike, that's one of the biggest points is the easy travel between the two fan bases. Yeah. It brings that back. I love Oklahoma too. I've got family in Oklahoma, so it's like a constant. We're always talking about what's Oklahoma up to, what's Nebraska up to. I think that would be a lot of fun. But yeah, I think Mizzou would be one of those teams. I feel like Mizzou would be like a Northwestern pairing every year. You know what I mean? Like where it'd always be close.
I think it'd be like Minnesota. I think it'd be more like Minnesota,
where we're getting beat every year.
Well, I don't know. If you look at like the overall, like from the time Nebraska got into the Big Ten, like I think it's been, a little back and forth. But
well, okay. So if you were to put me on the spot, I would say Mizzou. And then I think about it a little bit. I go, okay, well, you said Vanderbilt, and I'm like, well, why not Oklahoma? Because Oklahoma's on the downslide. Yeah. Am I right? Yeah. Hey, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma. Spot the difference. It's the Spider-Man meme. No, okay, they're not that bad. Okay, just let me run down the teams. Okay, you tell me. Nebraska versus Alabama.
No,
please no.
Nebraska versus LSU.
No,
I think it'd be fun. Like it'd be sick to go to Death Valley.
Hey,
yeah,
like that would be sick.
Nebraska versus Georgia.
No,
hell no.
We've already beat them in the Gator Bowl.
Yeah, we've been there, done that.
Yeah, psh, fuck out of here with your crazy driving. We don't want you guys driving up from Athens, Georgia. Anyway, it's not safe. It's not
dangerous,
safe, especially for you guys. Nebraska, Tennessee.
I could. That was like probably my third. Is like let's go do that.
Let's go do that.
Let's do that.
Let's go hear Rocky Top in Neyland Stadium.
I'm down for that.
I would love that.
And the caveat is they come to Memorial Stadium in November. Because I would love to see them play it in a Big Ten stadium again and get their ass kicked again because they can't handle the cold.
And, Tennessee, they don't have Peyton Manning at quarterback, so they wouldn't get their ass kicked again.
I mean, their quarterback's good too.
Yeah. That feels like another
Nebraska versus Auburn.
I just don't see any sort of relationship there. Like I'm good on that.
No, don't like it.
Even though, fuck, what bowl game did they play?
We played them in a bowl game.
We did.
Didn't we win like 26-0 or something?
No,
not that one.
Damn, I'll have to look it up on Husker Max later. Nebraska, South Carolina. No, Alshon Jeffries.
Yeah,
Alshon Jeffrey kicked our ass.
Yeah, he's still
bad memories. Us. Yeah, I don't like it. Texas A&M.
Ooh,
I could be down with that.
Okay,
I could be down with that.
I could be too.
Yeah, you bring Texas Trev, get his ass booed. I'm down.
Yeah, and don't forget, in Memphis, we felt as though we were going to get murdered by Johnny Football.
Yeah,
he was all tweaked out.
That'd be sick.
Yeah,
so, bring him to a Lincoln bar. See how that goes.
Yeah. So we've got a relationship there.
Yeah, you could sell me that one really easily.
Yeah, seeing Johnny Manziel in the bar going like this. Ooh, I don't know if I want to talk to him. think he's got is that a knife?
Yeah.
He's got to shank us. Florida,
You could sell me on that one too.
Arkansas.
Nah.
It's an easy drive.
Is it?
But yeah. Fayetteville's relatively close. It'd be a pretty easy drive. I think they're here all the time anyways for the College World Series and stuff. It'd be okay, but
Maybe this is so for me, it would be Missouri, Oklahoma, Ole Miss.
I can get down with Ole Miss. I hear the game day experience at Ole Miss is top notch.
And if Kiffin stays, it'd be a nice little Nebraska Kiffin thing, Cute little storyline.
My top, we'll go heart first, is going to be Oklahoma, Missouri, Tennessee, A&M.
Okay.
And then number 5, we'll say Florida.
Okay, so you're completely out on Vanderbilt now.
Well, that's my heart. My brain says, give me Vanderbilt, give me Arkansas, give me Kentucky, give me the bottom of the SEC. That's what I want. That's what my brain says. My brain list would be, all right, let me find all those 6-6 SEC teams.
Yeah.
Those ones that wouldn't have 6 wins because they only play 8 conference games. Give me those ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Won't talk about Missouri. Kentucky, not really. I'm not feeling that one.
Wandale broke our heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not a football thing anyways.
So then we get to Texas. Now, the reason why I didn't say Texas is because there is a, dare I say, a curse. There is dude, they beat us every fucking time.
Yeah, I don't want to play them.
And
and they're getting way better. And we are.
Yeah, you're right. That doesn't help either.
With NIL, they are positioned to be really, really good.
Yeah.
Lots of Lambos.
And, 2006 me, little freshman in high school me.
Damn, you're old.
I see, Terrence Nunn gets a first down, and I'm like, game over.
Mhm.
And I see that brown little thing that he's holding. The ball! He had the first down, dude. He had it. And it would have been game over in the snow.
Yep.
Colt McCoy.
That
It would have
sucked.
been really nice.
09.
And it would be, 09, of course. It'd be nice to get payback, but I just don't think they'd ever get it.
No, I don't think
Because
so.
I think they would just fucking
No, they're
find
not
ways
alive.
to lose against Texas again. They owned us, dude.
They did not make my
Listen.
list for a reason.
Every time I do like a horns down, I'm not going to lie. There's a little bit of it's an inferiority complex.
Yeah.
It is. It's because I feel bad that Texas beat us all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it would
In
be it would just be like those 2 years we played Oklahoma recently. It'd just be that over and over and over and over and over again.
Well, the one time was close, but it would be more like us having
Yeah.
to play Ohio State over and over and over because we play them all the freaking time.
So I think we're pretty unanimous. Mizzou, Oklahoma.
Yes,
I think most
Big
that could
Eight
be
rivalries. Bring them back.
Make-
Big Eight, not
make-
Big 12.
make a poll. You make a poll.
I'll make a poll.
And I think since there's only 4 options, you do Oklahoma, Missouri. I guess throw Texas in there.
A&M.
A&M. Who would we be leaving out though? Fuck.
Say your list again.
No, I think that's it.
Mizzou, Oklahoma, Texas A&M.
Those are all the Big 12 ones, and then obviously you had the 2 that were the Big 8 ones.
Like Ole Miss would be cool, but just for the little piggies out there to vote, I think those would be the most popular 4.
Yeah.
Mike, you're good at that. You're good at riling them up. And they get them going, Mike. I'm gonna vote. It's the off season. Mike is the piggy whisperer. Speaking of, go follow us, guys. NVNRpodcast.com. Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, NBNR Podcast. That's all the same handle for you. Did you guys want to talk about anything else?
I don't think so.
No, I think that's a good ending point.
I did also want to say, like, Richie Incognito has been vindicated.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I have been saying for years, and I think you guys would agree, that our offensive line needs more Richie Incognitos, but we would always add a little asterisk going, except for the whole racist part, the whole saying the N-word and picking on people and bullying people and all that other stuff.
And they said that was all wrong.
Damn.
So
Vindicated.
Richie's a dog. He's still crazy, but he's a dog.
He's still crazy, but the good kind of crazy. The only word that comes to my mind is vindicated, like that dashboard confessional song. You guys remember that song?
I don't know.
Vindicated. I am selfish. I am wrong. No.
I don't know.
2006 again, I think.
Oh.
Damn, I'm old.
Your memory amazes me. You know that? Every episode, it's amazing.
I'm like, let's see, it's 5 years after 9/11. Like everything that I think about, Kyle, is in terms of 9/11.
9?
Really?
Yeah. The world pre 9/11 is
A blur to you.
it's just it was such a weird time. It's like I watch Office Space. The movie came out in 1999. I'm like, that's 2 years before 9/11. And that's how I think about it. It's just
how old are you post 9/11?
shut up. Why you gotta go to like that's a low-hanging fruit with you, just calling me old.
I don't know. That's like a photogenic memory type of thing where you use milestones in history to like place things that
Yes.
you memorize, little things, movie dates, song dates.
Yes.
You're a genius.
I'm not a genius. I'm weird,
Yeah, I think that's it. That's the one.
And it's like I think back to when Nebraska played at Notre Dame. I'm like, shit, that was a year before 9/11. And then Notre Dame came here the next year, and I'm like, holy shit, that's like a week before 9/11.
It just amazes me. Every time you bring stuff up, you hit a date and a time and like something that happened in that game. Couldn't tell you anything that happened in that Notre Dame game.
And like, yeah, Jamie Burrow recovered a fumble. It was cool. And then like I think of 63-36 when Colorado beat Nebraska. I'm like, that was after 9/11. Like a few months. Like America was like scared shitless. Anyway,
What score did Nebraska lose to Colorado last year?
fuck, man.
You don't know what
That was great. That was great.
no.
It was a great game.
in Boulder.
Oh, that one? I thought you were talking about this
what was
year's
the
game.
score?
Oh God, I don't remember.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can remember
No,
that
30,
one.
30. Fuck, 30.
Was it 32?
Damn it.
I don't know.
That was my test. Could you remember? You remember the score of Colorado beating us the year after 9/11?
Yeah, but that's a score that's thrown out all the time.
Right.
By like Colorado fans that talk shit. Like,
Right.
oh, we were the undoing of your whole program. 62-36.
Right.
And 36 is half of 62. And so that also
Guess
helps.
what? We beat them this year.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck them.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry about 9/11. Unless you guys have something to add about that.
Nope.
Nothing. They didn't send you home from school and you weren't looking up in the sky. Like I was. Everybody's looking up in the sky.
I think I was in school, but I just don't like.
And George Bush came to Omaha because that's where the bunker is.
the bunker is,
And
yeah.
it's like, oh my God, are they going to attack us because George Bush is here?
I don't like. I feel like
Here's your interesting topic.
People have like 9/11 stories. Like, where were you at?
Yeah.
Like, I know I was in school, I think, but I don't remember any of it. That's how young I was compared to you.
I really think I was like in the we would have been in the second grade. Yeah, we would have been in the second grade, and I'm pretty sure we all got brought into like my old first grade class, and we were like, they wheeled in one of those old TVs, and we were all just like sitting there watching it. No one knew what was going on.
Right.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. This isn't Bill. What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I think that's what I was doing. But I mean, we were so young. So I don't know.
I don't remember.
I remember it.
Okay.
All right, let's close this up.
Sorry. Just froze up there for a second. Let's sign off. Yeah?
Yeah.
No more 9/11. I'm one of your hosts, Jared Hall.
Mike Delaware.
Kyle Byers.
As always, beat Penn State. Because is it a must win or a can't lose
Can't lose.
in GBR?